With Starbucks Holiday Blend for Nespresso Virtuo, now exclusively at Target, there are even more ways to share the joy. Savor every smooth and festive sip all holiday season with friends and family at home to fill every indulgent day with cheer.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
Oh, we're getting double teamed today from In This Moment. Chris Howorth, Maria Brink of In This Moment here to talk about their new album, Godmode. Chris, Maria, hi. How are you, both of you? Good to hear from you.
What's up? We like to double team everybody.
Thanks for having us.
I'm
we
glad
talk
you
over each other.
It's all right. We're going to make this the best. I just like how Chris appreciated my double team comment. So thank you, Chris, for picking up on that.
Got it.
All right. Well, hey, let's get right to it. 8th studio album. And the two of you have really been at it with each other since 2004 as the core of In This Moment. You pretty much have seen it all together. You've heard it all together as a band. What maybe stood out in making Godmode compared to previous works? Maria, do you want to kick that off? Maybe something that stood out making Godmode compared to other works?
Sure. There actually was a lot of changes. One being it's exactly 10 years since Blood. We wanted to do something really special and next level for this album. We started writing this album in the midst of COVID. So it really came together in this really beautiful, natural, non-pressure way. Because typically we do an album cycle and as soon as we're done, they want to throw us right back into the studio. And Chris has all this pressure and I have all this pressure, where we were just home. Chris started writing music just out of the nature of loving to write music. And on top of that, we worked with Kane Chirko by himself, which is Kevin Chirko's son. He's written songs with us like Core and been a part of our journey since the beginning as well. Tyler Bates, he also wrote some songs with us. So Chris, take the wheel. But
there's nothing left to say. She literally listed off
lots of change.
Well, those are the main points, though.
Yeah.
We did like 7 albums with Kevin, and having
Yeah.
And the magic between Chris and we've been known to bump heads in the past. We've been known to not always agree on musical things, which I think really creates the fabric of In This Moment. The kind of, how do you say that word? Juxtaposition, is that how you say it, Chris? Between
I think that was good, yeah.
Yeah, what Chris brings to the table and then what I bring to the table. And we kind of clashed in the middle. And there was really something special happening on this. Everything that he was sending me, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I love this. Really a lot of natural energy just coming to life. And it's heavy, right, Chris? It's heavier than we've been since the Blood album.
Word. Yes, it's heavier and she liked it.
Hey, that's good. When Maria's happy, everyone's happy. Just like...
dude, it's true. It's true. I was happy that she was liking the stuff I was sending. That's
Chris, I want to build on something Maria brought up. And again, that kind of a little bit more of a laid back sense, a little less pressure instead of that running gun music world where you make the album, you promote the album, you tour with the album, then you're back and making another album. Having that time, maybe a little less pressure on you. Is it a different album than maybe we would have seen if we would have had that pressure from In This Moment, really kind of that run and gun like I talked about?
It's a million times different, man. I can't even explain like how much different it felt, because honestly, I feel like in comparison, I was almost phoning it in on, since Black Widow, the last couple albums, I haven't felt the same feeling of connection to the music, and just, I wasn't vested like with this album, and the fact that it was not writing music for In This Moment. The stuff that I was coming up with over COVID was just stuff. It wasn't even for the band, and she was liking it also. It makes everything so much better for this album for me,
Now, again, you guys have worked with other artists before on this album. Again, Godmode, October 27th. You featured a guest vocalist, Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, who's been in the game for a long time as well on the track Damage. Maria, you don't need really to be challenged vocally, but and this is a two-part because I have the same question for Chris, kind of a jump off. But Maria, when you bring in another vocalist like that, someone who can challenge you like Spencer, how does that bring you to the next level? What does that bring to your vocal performance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever look at it as challenging. I love to bring in new energy and vocalists and people to work with because, we all write in the same circle all the time. So, and we perform together all the time. So when we bring in new energy, I find it to be very exciting and exhilarating and, something new and fresh. So Spencer and I had been talking for a few years about collaborating. We had gotten on the phone a few years ago and said we knew we wanted to make it happen one way or another. We weren't exactly sure how it was going to all happen. So when this all basically, the song particularly, I kept thinking he would sound good on this one. I just feel like, but it's a little bit different style than him. So I wasn't sure. And he was totally into it. And when we heard it back, I got goosebumps. And I love what they're doing with their show right now when we're going on tour together. So I think all of the parts really came together perfectly.
Chris, with that, to kind of build off what Maria said, you've obviously been with her since 2004, 2005, when you guys met in the audition and became a band and the In This Moment journey started. Is it different for you in trying to match maybe a different vocalist? I know he's just on there as a featured vocalist, but is it different writing? Is it different playing? Talk about that and working with Spencer.
No, and honestly, the music was all done thinking, of Maria. When I'm doing it, I'm not thinking about anybody but us. So it was one of those things where it was like, this would be maybe a really cool thing for him to do something with her on, and honestly, we just try to do what we do. And if a guest that we'd like to have on there is into it and they want to add something to that, then we're all for it. But we're never really trying to cater to someone, and all of our guests we've had on from Rob Halford, Lizzie, Taylor Momsen, all of them, were all into it and came in with their own ideas to add on to what we already had. And it was just super cool. So that's what Spencer did too.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool to see those other artists and you guys collaborating with so much talent you have throughout the years and bringing that In This Moment sound. Now, here's a question that, if I'm being completely honest, I didn't think I'd ever ask, or I probably will ever ask again on Discover New Music. Do you guys plan on covering Bjork from the beginning? How did you land on covering a Bjork song, Army of Me? Because that seems kind of out there.
Oh, I love her. She's one of my
Maria's
favorite
always
artists.
loved her.
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead, Chris. You can go first.
We were in the studio, and this whole album was very flowy and natural, and we went in there with the stuff that we had, but we were open to, if something wasn't feeling right, what do we got to do to change it or make it better? And she was like, I want to do a cover and I want to do a Bjork song. And she played me 3 Bjork songs, and I'm like, that one is, I'm not a big Bjork person. I don't really know her stuff. I do now, but I picked this one, and she can speak to the rest of it. She's been talking about Bjork since I met her, though.
So I guess, Maria, you're Chris, you can play anything probably blindfolded upside down. So I figured you could get a hold of it. But Maria, this really kind of came from you being a Bjork fan. And you're like, let's cover Bjork.
Well, she's just, to me, she's her own icon. She's a fashion icon. She follows no one, you know what I mean? She's very unique. She's always done whatever she wants to do. And I always found her to be very inspiring. And Army of Me is just, that particular song is such a cool, powerful song. The lyrics are so cool. And it has a really interesting beat to it, and the way that it sounds and all the way the electronic parts all come together. And I knew, Chris, I knew it would sound good and kind of like a metal industrial type version of it. And I'm so grateful that we did it, because it's honestly one of my favorites on the whole album.
We put the guitars on there. It was like, oh, this is sick.
you metaled up Bjork, which again is such an interesting statement. And actually, real quick, are you going to wear the swan dress for the music video, Maria? Have you made the music video for it yet, or no?
We haven't done a video yet, but we'll have to see if I want to do a swan dress. It would have to be not real feathers, because I love animals.
Of course. We'll get faux feathers, and maybe we could get Chris into a nice swan a suit or something.
Yeah. A goose suit.
We could float him on the water.
Yes, a goose suit for Chris.
All the boys can dress up like gooses. Yeah.
And if she doesn't want to wear the gooses, we can just wear the guys. Can.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I smell MTV Music Award all over this thing. It's gonna.
You might sue us for the idea once you see it.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
And now you brought up there, one of your favorite tracks on the album. That leads me in. I asked this on all my Discover New Music interviews with the new album. So, Chris, I'll start with you. Do you have a favorite track on the album, one that speaks to you?
I think they're all really cool. I really do. And I know everyone says that about their new stuff, but I'm really pumped on all of them. But I do love Sanctify Me. And the reason that one is so high up there for me is it's a cool riff and everything, but Maria is just destroying everything with her screaming. And it's just so badass. People haven't even heard that one yet. And it's like probably the heaviest one on there. It's super cool. So yeah, Sanctify Me.
I love it. Maria, I know we've already discussed your love for your Bjork cover. Is that your favorite, or maybe you have a different one on there?
I think The Purge is probably my favorite. I don't know. I have a bunch of favorites. They switch daily, honestly. I'm in love with the album right now because it's all fresh and new. It's like our new little birth baby. Like, we love it and we work so hard on it, and it's just hard to pick. Kind
of going back to that, a little less stress on this one. Does it feel does it feel different with this one? Maybe it feels, I don't know, you're more at peace with it. I don't know. Is that kind of play into it too? Maybe the feelings behind the album?
Yeah. I mean, it's called Godmode. Yeah, it's called Godmode, and it just feels powerful. And, we weren't able to tour for a few years, and everything got shut down, and all this stuff built up inside of me, like more and more and more and more, until we finally did this album. And it is just a really I released everything that I had been holding on to for so many years, and it's heavy and it's industrial and it's metal and it's got unique time signatures and really cool vocal things I've never done or tried before. And yeah, I just love it. One of the songs we had on the Wick soundtrack, I just it's a special album for us, and it's a long time since I've been this particularly excited.
Chris, what about you? Can you kind of echo that sentiment there from Maria?
I totally echo it. And we were saying it the whole time we were making it, this, it feels like when we made Blood, just the energy and feeling we had of creating it. And then when we were hearing it back, we're just thinking our fans are really going to like these songs, and feeling really satisfied. It's been a while, man. And we like all the stuff we do. We put our heart, soul into everything we do. But when you're doing that grind of just tour album, you start to become almost like a robot. And it's nice to step back and be able to appreciate it a little bit.
Yeah, that's been something that I've heard a lot as of late. Everyone kind of coming out of this shut down, this COVID nightmare that we were in. But the silver lining, if there is one on it, it seems like we are able to kind of get a little more introspective and really find those passions again. And now we're seeing it in the music. So I guess we'll wrap with this before we get to rapid fire, because I know everyone's excited. October 27th, Godmode from In This Moment coming out. So from peddling your music on MySpace all those years ago to now the 8th studio album from In This Moment, 20 years later, where, Chris, in your mind, does Godmode fall, at least where you hope anyways that it falls in the discography of the band?
In my mind and my hopes, and when we made it, the feeling I had was this is going to be one of our best albums. People are going to like it the most. I could be completely wrong about that, but I really honestly have felt super satisfied with it. And I wasn't thinking, it's because of COVID and anything like that. We just did it. We were just flowing along and doing it. But looking back, it definitely feels extra special. I haven't felt like this since Blood,
Maria?
I agree. It has this innovative, fresh, and experimental energy that Blood had. It makes me feel like when we did our Blood album, it felt fresh, it felt exciting, it felt new. We were trying all different things. So to me, it's up there with Blood, like the 10-year follow-up to Blood, and it feels like just that freshness and the energy of that.
You guys got us all waited with bated breath. We cannot stand it now until October 27th. Godmode coming out. We're going to see plenty more and hear plenty more from In This Moment. Chris and Maria, let's do a quick round of rapid fire, and I'll get you on your way. Now, there's no wrong answers with this. You go with your gut, and I think we'll learn a little bit more about you. Let's start simple, and why don't we go Chris, Maria, so forth, all right? Choco Taco or Flintstone Push Pop?
Flintstone Push Pop.
Flintstone Push Pop.
Flintstone Push Pop. Disco or techno?
Techno. I was a raver back in my day. I actually loved raves. It was one of my most freeing moments of my life. As a teenager, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think both those fit. I could see
like
Maria.
The
yeah, Maybe we'll see a Bee Gees cover on the next.
And Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You. Come on.
Oh, there you go. They said they'd never make a disco track. That's one of the best ones ever. Would you rather have soaked jeans or damp socks?
I'd say soaked jeans.
Yeah, I'm going to go with
nothing grosser than wet socks.
That's true. There is nothing grosser than wet socks. Especially after you probably get off the stage, you've been sweating all the time for that hour or however long you're out there. You probably felt it.
I either go barefoot on stage or heels, one or the other.
Oh, okay. So you get a little more air down there. All right. You're doing all right. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster?
Bigfoot, because my mothers are obsessed with Bigfoot and they follow all the Bigfoot movies and all the things and stuff. So I'd be able to tell my mothers that I found Bigfoot.
That you found Bigfoot and they would be happy. Now, Chris, you said Loch Ness. Did you?
I don't want to meet up with Bigfoot. Like, who wants to meet up with this gigantic bear thing in the woods? I'd rather have a big monster in the ocean out there in the lake or whatever.
Bigfoot might be sweet.
All those years of us yelling in the woods trying to disturb him. I think he's gonna be a little disgruntled. Maybe
he might be nice. He might be nice. You're right.
All right, final one. And Maria, I know you're an animal lover, so I just play along with this one. Would you rather fight a man with bear arms or a bear with man arms?
Ooh. A man with man arms. I'm taking a person down more than an animal any day.
See, that's what I kind of figured. I think I knew your answer. So, Chris, what about you? Who you taking on?
Man, I was thinking the bear does have all the teeth. It's probably worse, but without his arms, a bear's not going to be as powerful. But I'd probably have to take the man with bare arms just because. You're right.
The big thing is I always look at opposable thumbs. You give a bear opposable thumbs, I mean, we're in trouble, I think, at that point.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. They can grab and bite easily.
Right. I'm already pretty easy to catch. I think now you give them arms.
No kidding.
Thank you so much for humoring me, both of you. More importantly, Chris and Maria, thank you for talking new music in this moment. Godmode, October 27th. It's dropping, and we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brock. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking time. We'll see you guys soon, and nice talking to you again. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.